Welcome back to Jake and Maria Gaming. Today, we're diving into an Overexplained guide on how to win with Rome in Sid Meier's Civilization 6. So, what makes Rome so powerful? Let's start with their unique abilities. Rome's unique ability, All Roads Lead to Rome, ensures that all founded and conquered cities start with trading posts. Plus, new cities within trade route range of your capital automatically have a road going to them. And this gives you significant advantages with both mobility and economy. Next up, Rome has a unique unit, the Legion. These are not your average swordsmen. They're stronger and don't require iron to build. And they come with a special ability. Each Legion can construct a Roman fort, giving you early access to fortresses without needing military engineers. And you can use them to repair tiles. And then there's the baths, Rome's unique district, which replaces the aqueduct. Not only do baths provide the same benefits as the aqueducts, but it also gives you an extra +2 housing and +1 amenity, all at half the normal production cost. There's so much to cover in this video, but this is just the beginning. So let's jump into it and start our journey to Roman dominance. Alright gamers, so the first thing we're going to want to do, we start with a warrior unit and a settler. We'll want to use that warrior unit to kind of scout out the surrounding area and identify the best starting city location that we have near us. Alright, let's go ahead and start. We'll skip this for now.
This river has
okay,
floodplains.
skip.
This volcano is
A volcano
now.
near us.
Our civilization
And
has accomplished
okay,
something
we got
historic.
something else. Jeez, this lady just does not stop, right? Let's take our warrior and go up north. These are snow tiles, so not a lot of yield, but I want to see if there's any resources up here. With our settler, it's suggesting us move down to this bottom area. Let's go ahead and start moving down this way and see if there's any good spots to settle. Alright, so not a lot of new resources found by that move. This bottom city looks to be lacking some yield, and the one above it is actually blocked by some mountain tiles. Just based on what we have, I actually kind of like settling on this sugar that's surrounded by the river. It's a good defensible location, and we have a lot of mountains around us that could provide extra defense. So in our first turn, we used our warrior to scout out a little bit, and we found the desired location for our first city. Let's keep using the warrior to scout out a bit, and we'll go ahead and settle this first city. For those of you that don't know, once we discover irrigation, that sugar that we settled on will actually be one of our amenities. So looking at our yield from this city, we can see we have a bunch of +4. So you can see the 2 sugars are all 4 food production, but then we also have some stone that's 2 food and 2 production. We have 2 stone up to our right and 2 stone out to our left, all within our city borders. So because of that, let's start on the research mining so that we'll be able to utilize those tiles. We're going to want to continue to use our warrior to scout out the area. And would you look at that? We found a tribal village. For our first production of this city, we're actually going to go with Slinger. The main reason is more defense, and killing a unit with the Slinger actually does a Eureka for archery. So early game, we're going to prioritize killing some barbarians to get Eurekas in military researches. Starting off turn 5, we take our first tribal village, gaining us 40 gold and 1 era score. Moving into turn 6 and 7, we encounter our first barbarian scout. Our slinger's almost ready, so we use our warrior to try to cut off the scout before he can report our city's location. On turn 8, we discover a geothermal tile right by Rome. As we head into turn 9, a barbarian encampment is discovered to our north. Luckily, we finished researching Code of Laws. For our military policy, we choose discipline. And for our economic policy, we pick urban planning. During this turn, our warrior also stumbles upon Matterhorn, providing additional combat strengths to units that pass by. Spoiler alert, we're definitely setting up an encampment here. Turn 10 marks the completion of our slinger, allowing us to advance on the barbarians. We immediately start working on a settler in Rome. Remember, our goal is to build a wide empire. Early settlers are critical to expanding our territory. And just as things were looking up, turn 11 throws a curveball. We discover a second barbarian encampment right under Rome, and the scout has already reported our location. Horsemen are now spawning, so it's time for battle. For the next 5 turns, we engage in intense battle with barbarians. Our strategy is to fend off the barbarians while maintaining progress on our settler. I have the game sped up right now, but you can still see the crazy amount of barbarians that are just spawning from this encampment. And what I'm trying to do is kind of utilize the mountains with my warrior unit, and then utilize the river with my slinger unit.
So do our methods.
By turn 16, we unlock foreign trade, but it's not much use at this moment. The real focus is on surviving these barbarian waves. On turn 17, we've killed 3 barbarians, earning a Eureka in bronze working. Our strategy is working, but the sheer numbers of the barbarians is making this challenging.
Another one.
And yet another barbarian spawns, keeping the pressure on us. Turns 18 through 20 sees us advancing toward the barbarian encampment. Turn 21 brings a small victory as our slinger gets his first kill, earning us a Eureka in archery. By turn 22, our settler is finally ready, and we start working on the Great Baths. This provides extra housing and amenities. In addition, it provides +1 faith for every time a tile belonging to the city is flooded. And we're right by this giant river. Turns 23 to 25 are spent pushing our settler south while using our other units to wipe out the barbarian encampment. Coordination and timing are key here. Alright, with that barbarian encampment out of the way, it's time to push our units south and find the perfect spot for our second city.
Skill without imagination is
Ooh, look! Our warrior found another tribal village. We still have another barbarian encampment to our north, but maybe we can enjoy a few turns of peace and quiet now. Fingers crossed. On turn 26, we claim the tribal village and get our Eureka, and let's see if we can find a spot for our settler. Oh, shit.
I am Elizabeth, Queen of Britain.
Just as we were getting comfy, we run into Queen Elizabeth, our first Civ encounter. Right below us, nonetheless. Will she be friend or foe? Who knows? But one thing for sure, we need to found this second city quickly. Turn 27, we finally settle our second city. We place it 1 tile out from a loyalty drop. It's a strategic little spot to forward settle Queen Elizabeth. Alright, now that our second city is established, it's time to head north and deal with the remaining barbarian encampment. Our troops march north on the road, thanks to our unique ability, all roads lead to Rome.
We have recently gained
bronze.
Look at that, brown's working just finished, and we have iron right by our cities. We're just getting absolutely swarmed by barbarian scouts, and all of my units are like half health or lower, so it's extremely important to have the units working together and getting that adjacency bonus. My slinger and warrior are able to take out the scout standing between us and Rome. With our path from Ravenna to Rome clear, we continue to march our units up north. It looks like the barbarian scout is on his way to report back to the encampment. We need to get our units ready for this battle so we're not caught off guard like we were last time. And look at that, Ravenna actually produced another slinger. So now we have a little bit of backup. I gotta say, these roads are so nice to have. We now get the opportunity to select a governor, and I select Magnus. My main reason is one of the upgrades you can get for him is that cities no longer lose one population when making a settler. We'll go ahead and assign this governor to Rome, since Rome is our main area we're going to be producing these settlers at. This will help us in the later game because we'll be able to maintain this high population in Rome while cranking out settlers and expanding our roads and empire as a whole. I wanted to point out one thing here. Remember to always protect tiles that you're building a district or a wonder on, because if an enemy unit occupies that tile, you'll lose production on it. That's why I moved the slinger on top of the Great Baths. And would you look at that, it's not just a scout. We got another battle on our hands. So again, what I'm doing here is using the river to my benefit. Melee units that have to cross the river to attack me lose some of their strength, so I'm trying to use my slingers to kind of keep the enemy at bay while my other units have an opportunity to heal.
In this captious and untenable sieve, I still pour in the waters of my love, and lack not to lose still. Thus, Indian-like, religious in mine error, I adore the sun that looks upon his worshipper, but knows of him no more.
Over the next few turns, we complete the Great Baths, and we're just using our slingers to kind of hold this front line from the barbarians. I pull one of my slingers back from the front lines, and we begin working on a spearman in Rome. Hopefully these reinforcements will help deal with the barbarians, and we can start pushing them back away from the borders of Rome. Although, as soon as I say that, we see another barbarian warrior come out of seemingly nowhere. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments below, did I accidentally select extra barbarians on this playthrough? For our next research, we select astrology, and this will allow us to build a holy site district. We can use this to found a religion, and then eventually start spreading our religion and accumulating faith. This pairs well with the bathhouse because you can already see we are getting faith from a few of the floodplain tiles around Rome. Our first slinger valiantly falls in battle, but reinforcements are on the way. We push north and nearly have the encampment in view. At this point, we're basically totally surrounded by barbarians. We really need to get the situation under control, and I'm hoping that spearmen will help. Down at Ravenna, we finished production on a builder. I mainly want him focused on improving our luxury resources, like this jade, and then eventually moving up to our iron deposit near Rome. This will help us produce more advanced units and open up trade with other civilizations. Turn 47 is a big turn. We finish our research and start animal husbandry. Rome also produces a unit, and now we finally have some much needed backup. As you can see, we're getting around +4 faith per turn. And I believe it's at like in the 20 to 25 range where you discover your first pantheon. We select Divine Spark and get ready to build a campus by that nice +5 science due to the geothermal tile. But those barbarians just don't quit. They're all over Rome and force me to switch to building a settler instead. My idea here is we'll get another city founded, and when I'm done building the settler, I'll switch back to the campus. Turn 50, we buy the iron tile, and our worker sets up a mine on it. We also hunker down most of our units to start healing. Turn 51, we're absolutely surrounded, and we gotta split up our units a little bit to take on the scout that's at the south of Rome. We finish animal husbandry, and now we can start to see some horses on the map. We start researching ironwork. Turn 52, the barbarian fight continues. Remember, Divine Spark gives benefits to campus and holy sites, along with the theater district. And we use Ravenna to buy some tiles to set up a holy site district. We also become suzerain over a city-state, and now much of the map is revealed to us. Turns 52 to 57, we move most of our units up north to push back against the barbarians. But we use our slinger unit that Ravenna just built to kind of chase this last remaining scout away. We're making some good progress actually pushing the barbarians back now. Oh, and right there in Ravenna you can see a horse tile. I think this is a turning point of the war. Rome also builds a settler, and it's recommending that we build the city on the same river as Ravenna, but a little bit closer to the city-state. I actually like the rainforest tile instead, and my idea here is there's a lot of desert tiles by us, but also a lot of mountains. So if we build districts on the desert tiles, which already don't have a lot of yield, we'll be able to utilize a lot of the benefits that you get from being adjacent to mountains or rainforest. Plus, it gives Ravenna a little bit extra support, and you can see it will actually make a road from Rome through that kind of northern mountain pass. So it'll just provide some additional mobility to our units. Luckily, the spearman leaves the encampment thinking our slinger will be easy prey. But things actually play out in our favor, and we're able to take him down. On our last push to the barbarian encampment, you can see I kind of make a tactical error here. I forget that the barbarians actually have some archers, and you can see the iron tile right there. That's where the archer is. And so we have half of our army already across the river, kind of in the snow tiles, and then our other half of the army on the other side of the river. So now half of our army is going to have to cross this river, dealing with the penalty that I mentioned before. So really, the warrior and slinger in the snow tiles are on their own. And this was a big tactical mistake. I wish, looking back on this, I wish that I kind of moved my army together better. Or maybe I used that first settler to go and settle a city up in this northern area. Even though it wouldn't have had the best yield, it would have been a strategic position to deal with the barbarians and get rid of some of the fog of war that we were dealing with. But then, on turn 60, our warrior dies too. At this point, I think it's 1/3 of our army is gone, defending Rome. But victory is in sight. Turn 61, we enter a golden age as we progress into the classical era. Elizabeth turns out to be a good friend after all. A golden age in Civ 6 is a powerful period where your civilization thrives, offering you unique bonuses based on your chosen dedication. I select the golden age benefit that allows you to purchase civilian units with faith. And it makes builders and settlers 30% cheaper while purchasing with faith or gold. This is going to pair well with Magnus, specifically in Rome, because now I can just buy settlers with gold or faith. And we have the Great Bath, which also generates us more faith, and Ravenna just made a holy district. Overall, I think this was our best play that we could have made going into the Golden Era. And now, it's time to get rid of these barbarians. And just as I say that, another slinger dies. But as we go into turn 62, a meteor actually falls from the sky. This is the first time I've actually seen this. And let's head down to Ravenna, and we'll actually go ahead and buy the tile. Buying this tile gave us a military unit, the Heavy Chariot. This is perfect timing, because we can use this cavalry unit to quickly clear out any remaining barbarian. By turn 63, we finally take out the barbarian encampment. Victory is ours. We continue to move our heavy chariot up north to deal with the remaining barbarians. During this turn, we also found our third city. There's a tribal village right here, and if you buy the tiles, you'll actually get that benefit like you moved a unit on top of it. Here, we get an additional 20 faith, and because of our Golden Age benefit, this will come in handy purchasing units down the line. A small tip here is, if you want, try buying tiles near city-states, because the city-states borders will continue to expand, and you'll want to have your border flush up against theirs, so they can't take your tiles. I think this was a very strategic location to settle our city. Any invasion coming from the west only has a few tiles to pass through because of these different mountain ranges. But we'll have plenty of time to move our units around because we have roads connecting all of our cities. And in Rome, we build our first campus on turn 65. Starting on this other settler will help us clear the fog of war, which will hopefully reduce the amount of barbarians that are spawning. This will also, of course, help grow our empire, allowing us to continue to expand our borders. I mean, look how big we've already gotten, and being the suzerain of the city-state, we can see a ton of the map now. By turn 66, things start to quiet down. Nearly all the barbarians are dead, and my army finally knows peace. But just as we spot the last barbarian scout alive, we end our turn, and Elizabeth declares a surprise war against us. And that's where we'll end the episode. The next video will be an Overexplained guide on the classical era, continuing this game. Drop a like and don't forget to subscribe, and comment below on what you'd like to see next. This is Jake from Jake and Maria Gaming, signing off.